Hey everyone, this is another Star Citizen stream. Thrusters offline, my butt. All right, so today we're going to escape the crazy atmosphere of Microtech and go save a bunker while we discuss CitizenCon. CitizenCon's coming up here very soon. Let me get the landing gear up. I have not been around for an online only CitizenCon yet. I've never been to the physical CitizenCon, so they've all been online only for me. But I thought we would discuss some things that might be coming at CitizenCon. Now, it looks like it's only going to be a few hours long top, which is what it is. They obviously don't want to disrupt, excuse me, the developers and stuff very much because they are trying to get crap out for the game. So we're going to get a scaled down, watered down version, it seems. Now, some of you might have been around for the online only ones during COVID. I'd be interested to know how those were. Um, they're probably very different than what we're going to get this year because, again, I think there's only like, what, two actual streams or panels or whatever you want to call it in this scenario that are happening, and it sounds like it's going to be like 3, maybe 4 hours, if that, and it's all mostly pre-recorded. So it's going to be scripted. It's going to be very targeted and planned. There's not going to be any ooh moments, right? We're not going to have any surprises. It's going to be a very sculpted experience. Some things that I think they're going to talk about. Obviously, we have to have our expectations tempered because it's not like this is going to be going on for 2 or 3 full days or anything like that. It's going to be very targeted. I think it's going to be an informational overdose, kind of like when they get the I can't think of his name, the guy everybody wants to hear, Benoit. They get Benoit on. It's all technical. I think a lot of that's going to happen. Might get some might get some sneak peeks of gameplay that's coming. I think something red on my ship. That's interesting. I think they're going to talk about Nyx. Hopefully, it doesn't mean it's going to take as long to get Nyx in the game as it did to get Pyro from when they started talking about Pyro. But I think Nyx is going to be an item of discussion. Now, Nyx is not as big as Pyro or Stanton, so I think a release next year would probably be something in the cards. It might be a goal of theirs because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's the one that only has really one planet instead of moons and then a space station. So, ooh, that was kind of a rough landing there. Probably not where I wanted to land either. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, this is a pretty big ship, guys. This is the medevac. I'm touching. Let's move back. There we go. So I think we're going to talk about Nyx because they've got to start moving forward with getting out the systems. And if they aren't done or close to done with Nyx, I'm not really sure what we're going to do. We're never going to see this game in a live capacity. It's never going to happen. So I'm just making sure I'm still imprinted here in case I eat it. Sometimes the NPCs. That's weird. It shouldn't give me the option to do that, but Sometimes these NPCs are kind of spooky and really surprise you. So I'm just being ready. So the systems need to be coming along. If they are not almost done or done, oh come on, if they're not almost done or done with Nyx, then we are in trouble. We are absolutely in trouble. We will never see this game hit a release or a beta or anything like that, because Nyx has got to be the easiest win for them, and easiest quick. Here you go. Here's your location. Here's your gameplay. Oh God. I'm not getting stuck outside the ship. That's not touching the ground. We're gonna go out the back ramp. So yeah, if Nyx is not ready to be talked about and shown at some capacity, and hopefully play tested before the end of the year, we're cooked. We're absolutely cooked. I don't know what else to say about that. They have to make progress on that stuff. They just have to. If they're not making progress on that stuff, we're never going to see the game release. It's just the facts. The other thing I think they're going to talk about is armor. They've been putting out some armors lately. I would come out when it's a flippin' blizzard. They have been talking about armors, or releasing armors lately, and those armors, like the one that released this patch, along with the medevac, if you get the war bond package that comes with it, they are specialized armors. So, if we're dealing with specialized armors, there has to be some kind of specialization. Now, obviously, they can put armor in all they want to without that specialization, but I think they're starting to broaden the armors that are out because they realize they don't have some of these tech type armors out, and most everything is combat oriented. So I believe they are bringing out like the medic armor and the one that they just kind of showed off that seemed like possibly a hacking or some kind of technical armor. Why is there a naked dude out here? That's weird. But I think we're going to see some armor love this time around. I am hoping, because one of the things that I really want to be able to do in this game, hoping that they're close on hacking. I know that they were waiting on some ships, one in particular that's going to be a boarding ship, waiting on the hacking functionality for that. And I hope they're almost there. It's in Squadron. Squadron's supposedly feature complete, so I am ready for them to be bringing that over to Star Citizen. Let us see what that's going to be like. If they don't have hacking ready, I'm going to be a little sad, because that goes along with data running, which is another profession that I would like to have a part in the game. Oh, he just stopped right there. Bye. And hacking and data running are up my alley. So please bring that on. So that might be me being hopeful, but I know that they're waiting on some ships and stuff for that too. So hopefully that is something that's in their immediate sight. Oh man. All right. Let's just take cover and see what's going on here. But yeah, hacking. So the other items that I think they're going to be talking about during CitizenCon is, I believe they're going to talk about, I don't know if they're going to do any playtests, but I think they're going to start talking about dynamic server meshing. They mentioned it in the last Benoit session with Jared. And so I think they're only mentioning it because they're getting to a point where they might want to start having some tests, even if it's limited single system tests, being able to do some of that limited tests like they mentioned. They did make an announcement too that they were going to have some limited testing that was not Evocati, but it would be under NDA. And I think they're bringing that out in order to start priming us for testing concepts like dynamic server meshing and the like. And that's going to be good. That's going to be fun. It's going to stink that we don't get to hear about it because it is going to be under a strict NDA. But at least we might get some leaks and stuff. I do want to know what they're doing with it. I do want to know how it works. Um, as a former IT and still technology professional in my day job, that kind of stuff is kind of fun to me. Not all the networking stuff that Benoit gets on tangents about. That puts me to sleep. But something like server meshing, where you're able to dynamically scale an area to have multiple servers controlling it, or scale it back to where one server is controlling a small or a larger area because there's less going on there, and having that replication layer above it to support that. That's to me, that's pretty cool. That's some voodoo magic that those of us that are not 20 or younger never thought would be possible. And now they're making it possible. So hopefully they have some information on that front. We are going to get the new ship, the new, what is it, the Valkyrie? Yeah, everyone's all excited about the Valkyrie. I think it's overhyped. I think we got ships that already fill that role, but we'll see. Maybe there's something special that the Valkyrie brings to the table that other gunboats like the Andromeda don't have. So we'll see about that. And the last thing that we all know is coming, I don't think anyone would deny the fact that we are going to see, whether it's during the actual presentations or during materials that are released after the presentations, we are going to see silhouettes and teases of upcoming ships that are in concept but not yet for sale because they don't do concept sales really anymore. So I think what that is going to look like, I'm just looking for loot here right now. I think what that's going to end up looking like is another silhouette type thing that they do where they kind of show you the scale of the ship and the silhouette of the ship. And they're going to say coming in the next 18 to 24 months or some craziness like that, right? And then the speculation will begin. All YouTubers are going to be trying to figure out what all that is and what its purpose is, and if there's anything being reused from other ships, so variants and things like that. The normal stuff that we do in the Star Citizen community, trying to find out what ships we will get to spend real money on to have forever and not have to try hard at the game to get. Cynicism aside, it will be interesting to see what they're thinking and what kind of gaps they're going to try to fill, because I believe there are still some gaps in our current ship coverage. There's a lot of ships, don't get me wrong, a lot of ships. Where did that go? Is that okay, that's that. And nothing great there. There are all kinds of ships that they could add. I hope they slow down on fighters because I feel like fighters are in a place that if they continue to add fighters, it's going to be harder and harder to get those things kind of settled in for the for the long haul for balancing and PvP and all that. Fighters are probably the trickiest ship to set up in those terms. Was that everybody? Oh shoot. Okay, I got my timer. So yeah, hopefully there's not a ton of fighters. Hopefully it's a lot of cool ships. Maybe some engineering leaning ships, or I don't know, more medical ships. It'll be interesting to see the direction that they are going after this year, especially now that they're not going to sell you a JPEG anymore. At least not any new JPEGs, right? We're still going to have JPEGs. There are still plenty of ships out there that are not complete and won't be complete until after 1.0, apparently. So yeah, some more ships. I have heard some people mention that this would be a really cool cargo ship, and I don't disagree. I think cargo ships should probably be the most plentiful ships in the verse, because that is going to be one of the most common non-combat ways of making money. That's going to be really important for commerce and economy, and I really think that hauling is going to be a big deal in this game. It's not something that I personally want to do a whole lot, but I do think it's going to be a big deal when everything's physicalized and there's an actual economy, and you can't just buy stuff for the sake of buying stuff. There has to be an inventory of said stuff at a location. There's going to be contracts going out everywhere for everybody to take things to all kinds of places. And as the places lose the inventory and stock of those items, the payment to take those items to that location is just going to keep going up and up. So that's going to be a popular game loop. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'm probably have some more safe side predictions. A little more reserved on them, but I think just from what we're seeing in the game, those are safer and probably more likely assumptions than some of the crazier things like seeing aliens in the verse, things like that. I think aliens are going to be reserved for after Squadron 42, because, well, I do have a major torque imbalance. Feels fine to me. But yeah, I don't think they're going to show us aliens until Squadron 42 is released, because they don't want to spoil the fun. They want a reason for us to play Squadron, and I think a lot of information and lore is going to be fleshed out in Squadron, and maybe a month or two after its release. So that's what, a patch or two if they continue the current cycle. We'll have updates that expose us to that lore in game and the expansion of that lore, because Squadron 42 is a very specific time frame. But I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. So the final thoughts: we're going to see reviews of Nyx, possibly some game testing for uh or server meshing, the next level of server meshing. We're going to see some silhouettes of some new ships, and we're going to get some updates on armor and what it can do for you. Maybe even get some of those interfaces and uses of the armor in the next 12 to 18 months. That's always the joke now for me, 12 to 18 months for everything. So let me know down below in the comment section if you think this is a pretty accurate and safe bet, or if you think something else is going to be shown at CitizenCon. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to keep seeing content like this, go ahead and hit subscribe, like, and it'd help me out a lot if you also share the video. This is Gaming Solo, and I'm going to park and log out for now because I've got some things to do. I will catch you guys in the verse.